Hello and welcome back for Game 4 of Evil Geniuses Academy versus Dignitas Academy. After losing the last game, EG have gotten side selection and Crumbs, they've chosen red side. So we may very well get the same sides all series long if this is any indication.
Well, this is the kind of thing you do if you've only prepped one side of strats. So we're going to throw back to only blue side strats possibly for one of these teams. So just a little bit of a throwback meme there. But if you continue to choose red side, I think it's their continuation in going for that counter pick. Hopefully this time around it's not a Vayne and it's going to be something that I think has a little bit more impact across the map. So they're going to be using that to good use because it did net them 2 wins in the first 2.
Yeah, it felt like EG had it all figured out. That Baron was kind of nice, but getting it stolen basically turned the whole game around. And I think, as you mentioned in that game, Crumbs, that was just a risk that EG didn't need to take. And I think they've been punished a few too many times for overreaching in situations where otherwise they should just kind of chill out. Game 1, we saw like a very measured EG, and we thought maybe that's what we'll get all series long, and they'll just smash Dignitas. But it hasn't really been that way. EG have still shown that even though they are very talented as a team, they can do stuff they don't necessarily need to be doing. They're perhaps testing their limits too much.
They've got loose fingers. They're warmed up. They're like, well, I'm here. I want to make sure that I can execute on these plays. So they're trying to outplay their opponents a little bit too hard. And that is exactly the opposite of what Game 1 felt like. Game 1 felt like no one is trying to show off. No one's trying to outplay anybody. It's all about getting those objectives, getting the team play down. So we've seen that they can do it. And I expect that from that wake-up call of making that Baron call, getting it stolen, losing into the game, and going into a 4th game, they'll go back to the Game 1 approach, which was focus on those objectives, make sure that you take fights that are only necessary. So what do you get if you win this fight? If the answer is nothing, that's probably not a fight to go for.
Well, we'll see what happens here in Game 4's draft. Yumi and Tom Kench continuing to be banned pretty continuously. In fact, I believe that's the same first bans in every single game. Kalista will follow, also not getting given over to Deathly. And if trends continue, that is in fact Senna, the 4th ban there overall for this draft.
All right, let's use our powers of prescience here, and we're going to see a first pick set into an Ornn and...
Ooh.
Ornn.
Not Misfortune, because that one's already banned by Dignitas.
Last game they did Ornn Nautilus. I think Ornn Nautilus is too much early. Maybe Ornn and Irelia right away.
I want them to take Ezreal, honestly. Because the main reason is I don't think you should give Phoenix Ezreal. He looked so different on Ezreal versus Varus. It's so much harder to pin him down, so much harder to kill him. I like the idea of kind of picking the Vayne, but I don't think EG are going to go back to that. But they are going to go Ornn Nautilus, as they have done every single game now. Aphelios is banned, which of course means that the pool of champions available is limited, and Phoenix doesn't really waste any time. Straight back to Ezreal.
I'll give you an example that the Ezreal point, I think, really highlights. When Alistar was meta, weak supports would always gravitate to Alistar because you could press R and basically get caught, yet still not die. And so being able to give Ezreal to a player that has been getting caught when he was not playing the mobility champions, when he was playing on the Varus, is 1 or 2 less kills that Evil Geniuses could have had. Remember the gank into the bottom lane where Ando was not able to find that kill? Had that been an Ezreal, you get way more for that, right? The punishment is severe. There's no teleport on these other laners, so at least they have the Kai'Sa now, which was denied in the 2nd rotation from Dignitas. So I think EG is going to feel a lot more confident here having the Vayne be able to follow up into the dive versus hoping that Lorlo just ults into 4 or that Griggs Pantheon dives the backline.
Yep, they do lose Zoe as a result, though. That's kind of the trade they had to make. Trundle, though, going to get banned. I imagine EG will ban another jungler here. They do indeed ban Olaf. And DIGA basically priced into banning Syndra.
I think,
because I don't think you can afford to give it away here.
Syndra, or maybe even an Irelia could be really good here out of Evil Geniuses, because Trundle, Olaf are banned. You could just lock in Sejuani, Irelia, and have a really nasty front line with a Kai'Sa that can dive in the back, and your damage profile is going to be fine. A little magic damage, but if Irelia gets snowballed, it could be good. I want to see EG do it, but I totally understand if they don't go that direction.
They can only get 1/2 of it too, is the other thing. So if you also have to deny it if you think that
If you
Dignitas
take
can play.
Sejuani,
If you don't
there's
think they can
no
play
way
it, then-
DeMonte. You think DeMonte blinds Aurelia into that?
I mean, maybe not. We'll see. They are going to take Sejuani here.
Oh, I see.
I mean, we know Gyu plays Renekton, right? So that was the kind of pick he could play into Aurelia.
Yeah.
I don't know if Devontae will blind Aurelia here, like you mentioned, but I think giving your mid lane a counter pick makes sense. But now Digga, like, okay, what do we do? Because we have to navigate the Aurelia that's coming, probably. Well, assuredly, if they don't pick it.
I feel like 3 melees already. A Sejuani, Kindred.
Kindred.
Okay.
Kindred Silas.
All right.
Just pre counter picking the Aurelia. This is what Devontae played into it last time. It was fine. There wasn't a Sejuani in Anders' hands, so the matchup will be a little different. But we'll see. Maybe Gyu has something else that he wants to play here into the matchup. If he does feel like Silas is strong enough into the Aurelia that he was looked like he was going to play.
The Aurelia almost got a solo kill had she not lost the flash in the level 2 face checking a Trundle. So it's gonna be hovered at least. I think it's locked in. Got it.
I think the 2v2 is strong enough that you pick it. So I imagine that's big for Gyu. It certainly will be locked in. And we're starting to get some idea of how these teams like to play the game, Crumbs. We already said that for Gyu, this is his signature pick from what we've seen. And we already know that Sejuani plus strong melee champion is good times for the Sejuani.
Yeah, this is a really good comp for Evil Geniuses specifically. In fact, this comp only works if you have a really good Aurelia that can make crazy 1v4 plays. And that's why I'm like, yeah, this is the team to run it. Another team that doesn't have an Aurelia that's that aggressive would be in a really tough spot because of the lack of wave clear. And this is a game that's likely to just explode wide open. Double melees, no good wave clear from anybody here. If you fall behind, turrets are going to drop like dominoes.
Yeah, I like the front line here for EG. I think it's a very solid comp. I'm really curious to see how these two teams play. And Grig also on the Kindred is something a little different. We'll have to get deeper into that jungle matchup in just a moment as we are going to go to a commercial break. As a reminder, it's a 5-minute break to preserve competitive integrity in order to build up delay for the games. So go to the bathroom, grab a drink, whatever you need to do. We'll see you here in 5 minutes for game number 4.
That he shall be alone until his end. Sorrow and despair became too much to bear. The moment when Amumu realized what he had done, too late it was for him, for them, the evil curse had won. The anger and the anguish overwhelmed his fragile soul and caused a wicked tantrum that he never could control.
And we're back for game number 4, Crumbs. Dignitas Academy vs. Evil Geniuses Academy continues in what is turning out to be quite the epic saga. It felt like we had all we needed to know from the very first game, Crumbs. So we were wrong. Dignitas are not going down without a fight, and very well could take us to a 5th game.
Yeah, I forget the grit of a lot of these players and just how long they've been around. Guys like Phoenix, Olay, Lorlo, even Grig and the Monte to an extent have been playing for so long. There's no way they would just keel over and die after the Baron steal that we saw. So good to see that they're still in here, but now the stakes have gotten much tougher as Grig has even more pressure onto him. This is the first time he's playing this kind of champion in this series, and it looks like, I'd say Anda has gotten the best of him for most of the series. So going up against an opponent that has bested you when you have the matchup that really needs to get things going into the early game is a tall order.
Yeah, just quickly checking. It's funny because Kindred is a champion that I actually do associate with Anda quite heavily.
Yeah.
Played it quite a lot in the early parts of his career. If I quickly look over now, I don't think Grig has ever played Kindred in a competitive game. Yeah, I quickly checked there, but I do believe that's the case. So this could be the first time Kindred there for Grig. At least my very tertiary stats check does seem to indicate that. But regardless, definitely not a champion we associate with Grig is this Kindred. So gonna see something pretty different here if he's gonna be able to perform on this particular pick.
You usually have very aggressive players pilot the Kindred, so players like Blabber and Anda even. So he needs to be constantly in the Sejuani's face. Gonna have to be doing a lot of dodging skill shots with his Q. So mechanically, it's pretty intensive, but at least in idea and what he has to do, he's already off to a nice start, going for an invade, clearing out a ward. So the same split map approach that Dignitas employed in one of these earlier games will be used here.
Yep, I like the sweeper as well from Grig, just taking out that vision, making sure he's got full control of this blue side of Evil Genius's jungle. And with Anda going to the Krugs after his red buff, I don't know how easy it is going to be for him to get a blue buff. So I guess we'll find out in a moment. Anda is going to park down towards the Raptors. Giyu, though, alongside Brandini, I guess going to have some priority in their lanes if Anda is going to go over and try and get this blue buff. Right now he's on the Raptor camp. As bottom lane has been pretty back and forth. Feels like Deathly and Matt have done a pretty good job for the most part. But early level looking good there for Phoenix and Olay as Grig. Yeah, he's going to go straight over. And I think Anda realizes he has to give up the buff. So he is going to get 3 buffed here to start off this game.
Yeah, that's a really good start. And it's only possible because the Monte, Lorlo, and even Olay and Phoenix were playing so far up. It allows him to do this, and at least now makes the correct deduction of what camps are available for him, so we'll get to counter jungle this Raptor. And now the icing on the cake is, where is the Kindred Scuttle going to spawn? If it spawns on the left side, then Dignitas is very lucky. If it spawns on the bottom, this is a sad Kindred.
That's true. I always forgot about the sad Kindred, and it is sad Kindred today. It is the right side Scuttle Crab that will be the mark for the very first one. So Grig gonna lose out on that one, but as you said, not much he can do. In fact, nothing he can do about that. That one was simply a coin flip.
Well, this might actually result in Grig giving us the 3rd attempt at that gank into the mid lane. He's gonna go for the Scuttle now and has an angle against Giyu, who's running low on mana. He's trying to shove out the wave while Sejuani is here. See if he decides to stick around or just take the quick recall. With the help of Anda, he'll base, and pretty quiet early game, all things considered.
Yeah, did have a charge of his potion as well, and I imagine is running Time Warp Tonic there on Aurelia. So could have gotten a little bit of extra mana. We have talked in Champ Select about the power of Sejuani and Aurelia. Certainly don't want to overlook that for potential combinations. So Giyu going to be much more of a threat alongside the Sedge this time around. This is the first time this series, although not the first time this season, they've been able to play these 2 champions to great effect. Grig, though, continuing to counter jungle where he can. He's going to take away Anda's Krug camp. And all in all, both junglers actually doing a pretty good job of farming through the early game, trying to control each other's paths. But it is very much a subdued early game to what we have seen in the last few games, although Giyu is continuing to be aggressive here against Damonte, just looking for stuns whenever he can, and Matt's even roamed up here to pay a little bit more attention to this mid lane.
They're putting so much value on the supports being able to go into the mid lane. It's paid off so many times before, and now there's pings going onto the Raptor camp from EG. They're anticipating Kindred to go there. They're not going to know that she's going to wrap around and maybe even find Matt here. This could be a very aggressive 2v2.
Yeah, Matt has been sticking around here for a very long time, but the wave is pushing away from Damonte, so might be hard committing to this 3v3 over Damonte using that little dash there with the W, but Matt is just going to barely miss that hook, although he goes back in. Damonte, that was very ill-advised, and that's first blood for Ander.
That's exactly how EG plays this 2v2. They don't have Sejuani show up. They have her just trail the Irelia so that she gets a few sneaky autos, and before you know it, you're locked down. She's got enough to see the same things that happen here.
Yeah, oh, Greg, he's in trouble. He's level 5. The sun's about to land. Giyu's getting low as well, but they get the kill already. Giyu now level 6.
God.
That's going to be another kill. Olay is down, and the TPs are coming in. Phoenix and Damonte rejoin, but they can't get anything.
They have not played against Irelia Sejuani in a long time, because when this duo was running mid 2v2, it was unbeatable. You could not come up even close to the Irelia if she was autoing you, and it's going to be now a 6-minute Ocean. That's a really great dragon, and all the kills going to the Sejuani means that the Kindred that was supposed to be getting ahead of the Sejuani is now just so far behind.
And Giyu is 0-0 and 3. Bilgewater Cutlass already completed, and we'll see how the madness begun. I had no idea what Damonte is thinking.
Going back in there, I mean, there's no damage, right? There's no way you're actually killing Matt, who didn't even get to proc the Aftershock, and now here, you just saw what happened to your boy Damonte. What could make you think that you have a chance here? Like, it was only close because Anda did not get the stun quickly. They get the flash as well. Boy, disaster in the mid 2v2, or the greatest thing that could ever happen, depending on which team you are on.
Yeah, I mean, the good news in air quotes is that Giyu didn't get any kills in that, and still, he's going to be really far ahead of Damonte. Already 10 CS ahead with that early Cutlass. This is going to get rapidly out of hand if it hasn't already. That had to be a misclick from Damonte. Like, I have no idea what he thinks is going to go, what's going to happen there. Because Damonte is going to go back in. Flash here for Giyu at the ready. Vanguard's edge out. Giyu going to go back in. He wants to make the play, and it's 4 people this time in the mid lane.
2 is not enough. 3 definitely wasn't. So they're just upping the numbers, and it worked this time. I like that look out of Dignitas, not gonna lie. Yeah, you lose some CS here, but at least you do some work into the mid lane, stabilizing that lane. You know how quickly it can get out of hand, and if they didn't go for that, I actually think he was just about to set up a solo kill. You see how the Aurelias love to play the lane. They just auto that back creep one time, and suddenly they have access to you the second they keep proccing that all over the creep wave. So that's what he was doing, and the bot lane roamed the second that they identified he was looking for it.
2v3 now in the bot lane. Matt, no flash. Gonna have to be careful here, but here's the Kai'Sa and the Sedge. Level 6 for the Sedge as well. Matt knows that they can go in for this now. Definitely also with the Killer Instinct ready. Grigdo ready with his own ultimate. So Andy gonna have to play this one well. Phoenix with the snipe though takes down Matt.
Really nice look. It was looking a little suspicious when the Braum missed the Q and then Kindred wasn't even in range of the initial E, but the fact that Anda was there gave EG a little bit of confidence. Maybe they could look to turn it, and it was exactly that look to turn that got Matt low enough to die to a true shot barrage.
Yeah, it feels like, again, EG getting caught up a little too much in what's happening here and maybe not paying full attention to the overall situation of the map. Giyu going in there, certainly not respecting the fact that there are 3 other people missing. And then I think in the bottom lane, they're just thinking they had a little bit too much safety that they did not have for themselves. And look at Damonte. I like this, just playing aggressively.
Yeah.
Does have his teammates by him this time, but, you know, Giyu's not always going to know. As Matt is here, but I don't know if just Matt is enough.
Orin is here too, so they know. It's just everybody to the mid lane. You need the party here. They spot out Olay, and that lets Giyu actually clear out the minion wave.
Stun lands, and Giyu's just going to harass. Matt's going to show himself, but Anda also is here. He's going to clear out the ward on the right-hand side of mid. We did mention at one point that, you know, it feels like EG, you know, translate all their lead down to Deathly. I think they've decided that Deathly is just fine on his own. They're going to move all of their advantages to mid lane, because that seems to be where the action is located.
It's where the most is available to be gamed. If Irelia gets ahead, you know that split pushing matchup is going to be so lopsided, and if Sylas can get to snowball, he has so many amazing ultimates to take. I mean, the last time it wasn't that good, but a Sylas that can take something like a Kaisa ultimate into a team fight is really crazy as well. Just being able to reposition behind someone with a giant shield is not what you want to be dealing with if you're EG.
Yeah, a lot of good options here for Damonte. As Phoenix and Ole are working on the plates here, they'll take down 2. Is going to be that swap, although no Riptail drop just yet for Ander. He's actually going to go ahead and recall. I lied. He's going to stay in top lane because they do want to take down the tower. Ander just waiting a little bit of time here. They're going to knock this down, try and finish off the tower. They need to knock down as many plates as they can before they do get it done. But they should only need to knock down 1 more plate before they can take the turret out.
Yeah, good timing.
Yep, channeled it here. I think it's about 2.5 plates. And there we go. Oh, almost. Come on. All right, there we go. Very nicely done for EG. That's definitely, once again, the beneficiary of a lot of early tower gold thanks to that Rift
That's
Tower.
a good timing. That timing is actually straight into the Cloud Drake. That might actually be exactly what EG wants. A fight. They have no damage. TP from Deathly is here.
Matt's back in there. Oh, good ulti there, but definitely looking to play cleanup. Has to live, though. TP also in from Dig. Lolo going to join here, but here comes Giyu ready with the Vanguard's Edge. I can smell a 1v5 dive. You're going to get slowed down, though. Dive's called off. All right, call it off. It's done.
I wanted to see
He was doing it for sure.
He's definitely the player to go for that, but I'm like, ooh, is that really with a Braum Q behind you? I think if he had Flash, maybe he would have thought of a crazy angle out of the stun, but they at least get the set ultimate, which now forces Dignitas to try to get something around this dragon.
All right, well, I do have a quick update, although we have a little bit of time before this dragon. Greek actually has played Kindred before. Played it once in the LCS 2018 summer, going 7-1-3. It was on TSM at the time, but they did lose the game.
Oh.
So he actually has played it. I take it all back. My info was not good. Shout out to production and stats for getting me the right info. So he has played it once. He didn't win, much like his Olaf in Academy, as Damonte was running out of time to use that ultimate, so just wave clears with it in mid lane. Always fun to see.
Well, the Kindred has only been played once, but so far it's been fine. Right? Nothing outrageous. I think the most outrageous things about the pick is usually your ult timings when it messes up a team fight, but it's a really good ultimate to deal with divers and people that just want to all in you. So champions like Sejuani, Ornn, and Nautilus that are really counting on securing kills after the CC lands will have a hard time if Grey can actually hit that ultimate, because this Kindred got buffed. The healing on her ultimate is a little bit higher now. That should actually work in their favor against this kind of comp.
Well, 2 Drakes already for EG, so off to a good start here. 2,000 gold ahead thanks to the early mid-lane action with the Aurelia, but Dignitas have continued to hold on in this game, and at this point, Crumbs, I mean, if you win that last game after what happened to you in Game 2, I'm never willing to count Dignitas out of a game at this point, but certainly a good lead for EG. I think looking closer to the Game 1 form that they showed, as Giyu is just continuing to hound Damonte here in mid lane. He's going to get a plate for himself there in mid, but once again, it's 4 people converging towards the center of the map. Onto Phoenix they go. They're going to try and make it happen. Ooh, a hook is good, but Phoenix with a stopwatch, and they're going to stay in here. TP's coming in as well, but it's going to be a 4v4 between the towers. Matt going to get himself stunned up, and the knockup is good to find 2 more. Now it's 5v4 here for Dig. Giyu, can he line it up? Lolo's here. The stun is good. They have to back away. No backing down. Vanguard said, snipes Greg down before I can use his ulti because he didn't have it.
What an animal!
EG, get one back.
What an animal in Aurelia! What the hell? He's seeing these angles that are so thin from this champion. It's really exciting to watch this, and it was a great look from EG, but when they realized they got spotted, Matt and Anda blasting over the wall, they knew they didn't have that much time to go for this play. So I thought they were going to immediately ulting on Phoenix and hope for Deathly to collapse, but it was the stopwatch that outplayed the whole thing. And so now, it's like, okay, you have 1 pick, the TP is here, it looks good. Damonte missing this is a pretty big deal, but then watch what Giyu does, right? Stuns this guy, dashing in, and just so clean.
Really nice shut down there onto Greg, as EG at least make sure that their resources get something in trade at the end of it all. But we're still going to be kind of walking ourselves towards the next Drake here. It is a Mountain Soul for the first time this series. Definitely and Matt with 2 minutes to spare before they can go back down towards the bottom half to fight for the Drake. I'm going to stick around here and maybe find a jungler. It's actually Demonte. Temporarily jungling on the blue buff.
I think
he's going to get spotted.
Definitely and Matt want to be here for the next Rift Herald, so they're
makes sense.
Getting a nice little blue buff too, and Ornn is in no position to be punished, so he gets a crash of wave here while EG commits to a steal, and there's no response for Dignitas, so they have a little tempo advantage. Let's see if it means more than that, as Dignitas, they look mad, they want to fight.
Yeah, definitely got to get out. Does not get tagged by Braum, and it does. Nautilus ult there that was stolen previously is going to get used. Ander, though, still pretty tanky, but taking damage on the front side is Matt, who will fall to Demonte. And no ulti there for Gio. I think if they had some ults, it would have been a very different look. Instead, it's Demonte still chasing Ander, but not going to be able to find the follow-up.
Really good sidestep there out of Ander, predicting that Demonte would flash in to try to connect those chains. Dodges away, keeps the bounty, and Herald is still not up. It's about to spawn, but EG would be able to actually come back into this play as Matt's already back up, and Deathly's continuing to shove into the mid lane turret. So that kind of play that Dignitas just went for didn't really net you any objectives. It simply got you a little bit more gold. So EG not too worried about that one. You got 40 seconds on the dragon. They'll have first reset into setting up this vision, and that vision can get you the instant pick with a Kai'Sa Nautilus that you need to not even have to fight for this dragon.
Gonna have a lot of good ultis up as well. Brandini in particular and Giyu will both have their ultimates, as will Deathly. And without Silas ult or Braum ult, a little tougher for Dig to fight, although they do still have Set and Kindred to add to the table. And Demonte may have his ulti back up by the time the dragon is started, but it's going to be close on the cooldown, and he can't hijack Nautilus's ult, although he has plenty of other options. Giyu was pressuring topside. He's going to go back and recall and then TP in for this Drake by the looks of things. But EG are at least looking for this. Ander is on the Gromp though, so maybe they don't want to commit too hard.
TP.
Or no, it's going to get stolen here. That's TP from Giyu, very deep. Gets the stun down. Giyu now going to have to be careful. Vanguard's edge gets popped. He has to go back in and just try and make something happen. Gets low, too low it is, but Brandini's in the backline. But the Lancer Spike going to keep the backline alive for a little while longer. But the 3-man knockup's massive. Definitely in the backline. Going to get one. Going to make it two there as the second one pops. And going to be a third as Lawler will fall as well. Make it the third over to Brandini as EG find the fight.
What a knockup from Brandini there out of that Kindred ultimate, because Giyu TP's way too deep, right? Very squishy, not a single HP or resistance besides the magic resistance out of Merc Treads. Can't even get the Kindred ultimate. But then when it comes out, Brandini hits it against the wall, and it's picture perfect. The second the ultimate comes and wears out, 3 people are in the air. They get dragon, turret. It's such a good fight for EG.
Yeah, you think the Ornn ult's the only problem that Ornn has? No. Brandini shows that there's plenty of CC left in the Ornn kit. Everybody's brittle, they get knocked into the air, and the third Drake for Soul Point here very quickly over to EG as we'll watch this one again. I mean, Giyu looks like he's throwing his life away.
Luckily, he hits a pretty crucial stun there, but at the back end, right, he does his damage, and then let's just watch what Brandini does. Where flashes in, hits that brittle, 3 people onto him, and then bam, the little edge of that wall. If that wall wasn't kind of peaked that way, I don't think that would have actually hit all 3.
Yeah, definitely also falls to Flash, but does not die to the Haymaker at the end of the fight, and that gives him the team fight win and the Drake pretty resoundingly there, as Evil Genius is starting to snowball back up. This is looking way closer to their Game 1 form, Crumb, so can they cleanly finish things off from here? We'll have to find out, but certainly looking to be in full control in this mid-game.
Yeah, they're going to have triple teleports just like Dignitas has, so they'll be able to match whatever pushing shenanigans Dig wants to go for. And once Kai'Sa has mid control as she does now, and the Baron spawns, they can actually go back to the Baron and pull that same play that they tried to with the 2-man, and I think they'll learn that they don't need to show so early, so they've got a lot of plays available to them. We just need to see them not take them all, because that's what their problem has been. They see too many plays, too many opportunities to outplay, commit to too many, you're spread too thin. As a result, you're weaker in those plays, you die, you give the objective that you wanted up, and the game gets thrown. I don't think they're going to do that again here, because this is kind of a low kill game considering what they usually look like when you have an Aurelia Sejuani in the game.
Yep, just sweeping up vision right now, trying to threaten the mid lane, because that tower in mid is pretty low, and that's kind of the last piece for EG to really unlock the rest of this map. Giyu, though, in the meantime, is in full-on side lane mode. Is just going to tear down this tower with these blades.
I think I want to play Aurelia after
stick
this.
around to defend. Yeah,
right?
Same. That's kind of what I've been thinking.
Like,
all,
he's making it pretty
long.
easy. Is it easier than I thought?
I don't think so, but it's very fun. I can tell you that much. But Blade of the Ruined King certainly seems to be something fun to do in League of Legends these days. EG not overreaching. They do lose the outer tower in bot lane, so Dignitas do pick one up for themselves. Their first, actually, of this game. But EG still, again, in control here. Up 3,500 gold or so. Not overreaching in these spots. Just leaning on the power of Deathly's Kai'Sa, and also has a lot of gold to his name. Just slowly working this mid outer tower and waiting for the objective to spawn. They can force a fight around this dragon if that's what they want, because that will be the soul that EG can grab.
It's crazy that this is also the team that has the Ornn, whose upgrades haven't even come in yet, so they're going to have plenty of ways to become stronger than their opponents despite the Mountain Soul, which appears to be already going their way, as this is all they're working towards. You have the Stone Play completed on Matt, and will have his done, and this is always a very questionable point for a lot of players when you have the components that Anda has. You've got a armor, MR, and your stopwatch, and you can obviously complete that Stone Plate. It's very cheap. But then, do you price the Stone Plate over the stopwatch usage? And sometimes some players just don't want to use the stopwatch. It usually involves you becoming more aggressive, whereas when you upgrade, it means you just want to survive as long as possible. This to me tells me Anda wants to get into the backline, wants to be really involved in this next fight, and potentially even look for a steal if they lose a team fight, because that's what the stopwatch allows you to do. You can just get in there, secure it, and survive.
Yeah, I think understanding that the next, big moment of the game is going to be a pretty critical one to EG successfully snowballing this win and closing out the series here in playoffs. Going to take the mid outer tower. That's so much more room now to maneuver. So at this point, they haven't taken a reset, but they have kept up the map pressure in order to be first to this Drake and contest for the soul. That being said, Dig has bought recently, so with the Rift Herald being channeled to buy a little bit of extra time, this could be a fairly tight 5v5.
Certainly looks like that Aurelia is not even going to TP. She's just basing and walking straight to the fight. Same thing with Silas and Lorlo. So odd that the more TPs there are, the less the fights revolve around them, and the more it's just a matter of you need to be there first. The time of channel is too long for you to actually pull something off if the vision isn't quite right. And because no one has had the deep wars that are needed, we're looking into just river control above all else.
Yep, you can also see Anda going to get aggressed on here. Demonte going to steal the depth charge, but can't find a target to latch onto. Giyu is on the flank, though, potentially. Has actually recently bought himself. Does have the the Sturm's Fist added for a bit of extra damage and health. So this could be quite the pinch here, but they're racing down the Drake. Giyu now going to show his hand. The threat is there. The Drake is going over. It does go to Lolo, but Ole going to be caught in the cross. Is going to go down. There's Silas diving into the backline. Demonte with a really nice stopwatch and a great face breaker there for Lolo. Could turn it back around. The ulti out of Grig is going to keep Lolo alive, but just barely. But Brandini again ready with the post-ulti knock-up. And that's going to be yet another kill as Phoenix falls to Anda.
They only lose Matt, so they can go straight for the Baron here. Grig might be making an opportunity for a steal if he can find it. Anda does not have the regen necessary, but they're moving towards it. Ornn can definitely tank this, and Giyu still has TP, so they lose the Mountain Soul, simply delayed, and will get a Baron instead.
Yeah, a trade they're more than happy to take here. Insta TP from Giyu, not wanting to waste any time. Didn't even really buy anything else, just has a Ruby Crystal actually added in. Grig is here. They're going to have to make sure he does not get in for a steal, and definitely says absolutely not, get out. And that's going to force Grig away. He doesn't have an ulti, no chance to steal this at all, and that will be Baron over to EG, but Ole's in. He wants definitely Giyu. Now going back around is Brandini again diving in. He might just give his life away here, but I think the fight maybe could go in favor of EG. Brandini with a stopwatch. Giyu again kiting around, but Lawler with a massive haymaker now into stasis himself with the shutdown. Comes in from Demonte. Giyu diving in, but the health bars, they're so low on both sides. The stolen Vanguard's dead. He's going to give a shutdown over. Matt's going to fall as well, as Baron almost being stripped off of every member of Evil Geniuses.
They fell for their own trap. They thought that there was a fight happening. Like, well, let's just keep going. The fight is here. But they lost the Baron. They committed everything for that. And they didn't reset. They haven't not reset. You mentioned that Giyu hadn't reset, but everybody else also didn't have new items. So they were so much more behind than Dignitas when they show up to this fight. Everybody should have just left here. And instead, they're like, well, I guess we're in a doomed position. They could have just let Brandini get out here, but when Giyu and Andy are like, oh, maybe we can stun everybody, we've got a lot of damage, and the hook into the Haymaker is an odd combo that you don't really get to see very often.
But worked out nicely. Demonte with a beautifully stolen ulti, and at that point, the fight is lost for EG.
Too bloodthirsty here.
Yeah, and it costs them not just in, some progress being lost, a bit of Baron time here, although definitely is now onto the tier 2 in mid. Demonte bought him a Jais before the last team fight started and didn't die, although it was close. He just picked up like 12 stacks after that team fight.
Started at 4.
So like a risky buy, like he literally bought that before finishing a second item. I think just thinking that the next team fight we have to win or we're not going to win anyway, so I might as well try and snowball it super hard. But he's been rewarded for his risky choice now with 16 stacks. So Dignitas behind, but not out of the game just yet. EG going to have to do way more damage with this Baron to kind of put a rest to Dignitas' comeback in this
Well,
series.
let's see if he uses that extra mobility to outmaneuver Evil Geniuses, who is already hammering at a next inhibitor turret and about to be at the tier 2 for Giyu. So Medjais is definitely helping him, but not enough just yet. I don't think he can even 1v1 Giyu at this point.
Yeah, gotta transfer the Baron buff here, so Ander and Giyu working on the tier 2, but they're trying to split the map here with Brandini also not being around. So Ander and Giyu gonna have to give up their side lane adventure. But EG still applying pressure here. Got the Red Bull Baron power play up for 30 more seconds.
Got Ornn in top lane, just a 2-2-1, not the classic 1-3-1, and that's mostly because Anda is just moving about. Once he rejoins with Kai'Sa, might start to see Dignitas think about where they can engage as they see all the members and they know that Irelia does not have the Sejuani ready to back her up. And yep, it's just going to be a Baron into some gold. No base turrets taken. We got a long game ahead of us.
Yeah, back for the soul, I think, to set up there. EG, happy maybe giving one mountain away, but that's about all they're willing to do. So going to go back and get the vision out around the map, and they will be first to the area, given that they were able to be the first to take the timing.
So look at Deathly's build. He's going to be going for the Death Cap 4th. I think that this is a point in Kai'Sa that can be played as just a very strong poke champion. She should have W evolve, so she can just continue to chuck those out like she is doing now and just whittle away at Dignitas. And that kind of damage on the front line is going to matter in a fight, because front line that can't engage and last as long as they should ideally with 100% HP don't buy enough time for marksmen to deal the damage, or carries like Silence.
I like this trap that Ender's setting a lot here, although he's going to put himself in kind of a compromising position. He's going to be spotted, so going to have to go over the wall. Potentially does take the blast cone out, but the ward over as Grieg is continuing to fire arrows into the sedge. Giyu also with another big flank. Ooh. Ulti out of Brandini. Oh, what a stun. The Sejuani ult's beautiful. The triple stun. The knock up there. The Lambda's fight finally burnt, but Ole's already dead. The set ult there is going to force Giyu to use the stopwatch, but Lolo is going to get shredded down as a result. That's a double for the Kai'Sa. Make it 3 is definitely killer instincts into the backline as Matt steals his kill. And now Brandini going to get another. That's the triple kill.
That's it.
Overall, actually, for Deathly, and only one left alive. I think EG have done it, Crumbs.
Wow, what a way to play the game. They didn't even go for the dragon. They saw the fight right away. Giyu had the great flank, and even though Ole stopped him from being able to instantly execute the Kindred so that the ultimate wouldn't come out, everybody else was already in such a good position. This team has quickly become my favorite Academy team to watch. I'm not going to lie to you, Pastry. They're so exciting, and a lot of it comes from Giyu playing this Irelia so well.
Yeah, when they're playing well, they're awfully fun to watch, Crumbs. There was a speed bump in the road in game number 3, but they have righted the ship since then. There are respawns coming out, so they're going to have to play somewhat carefully, but the Nexus is open and it's down. EG will take down Dignitas 3-1.
Wow, just a really great performance out of them. Quick adaptation, some bad things happening, but they recovered, and then they learned from the first week, which was the most important thing. Do they look better as they progress into playoffs? They absolutely do, and I can't wait to see them in the finals. They're already there.
That's true, they are there. They'll play the winner of Cloud9 Academy versus TSM, which we'll talk about in a moment. But Crumbs, I think I agree with you. Like, their picks are cool, they're an exciting team. They've shown that they're among the best teams in Academy. It's just the cleanliness that we need to see, because there are still moments in that series, despite clear improvements from last week as well, where EG sometimes like a little too scrappy.
Yeah, some of those mistakes against better teams, you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. And so you don't want to be giving those inches that against other teams don't look like much until you encounter a really high stakes match or a really good team that will just see that opportunity and run away with the whole game.
Well, speaking of, Crumbs, we'll pull up the bracket right now and see exactly how we're going to get that path to finals coming right up. As we already mentioned, TSM Academy and Cloud9 Academy will await Evil Geniuses, or I guess other way around, will play for the spot against Evil Geniuses, who are now into the final after their series win here against Dignitas. But Crumbs, Cloud9 Academy, TSM, EG looking good. I think TSM had a hot series, but I'm not sure they can hold on against Cloud9 Academy. I mean, at this point, Cloud9 across both leagues are clearly favored in every best of 5.
They are, yet across all leagues, it seems like Cloud9, TSM, and EG are also top teams. So I would not put things past TSM. The preparation is there. They haven't seen Cloud9 play, and that's always the double-edged sword of playoffs. Would you rather have all the time to practice and improve and redefine yourself during playoffs, or do you want to just cool off, show nothing, and trust on your practice from the regular season? Over the years, it seems like just more games translate into better performances, so I think that TSM might be putting a strong fight against Cloud9 despite the dominating regular season end of C9.
Regardless, it's certainly a worthy opponent for Evil Geniuses waiting now in that final after their win today. But we'll see, Crumbs. As a reminder, that second semi-final will be up tomorrow at 1 p.m. PST, so tune in on this channel if you want to check out the continued playoff coverage of Academy Spring 2020. But that will do it for us here on behalf of Crumbs, myself, and the entire remote broadcast crew. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you here tomorrow for that match exactly. TSM Academy versus Cloud9 Academy. Take care.